Hey, what's going on, everybody? In this video, we're going to cover a few different topics in the news today, as well as go over a quick recap of last week's moves that I made and where I'm at in my overall portfolio. If you want to see my first reveal of my portfolio, you can check out last week's video that I made. Planning on kind of doing these weekly with some news and maybe an update. But today we're going to talk about Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports. Since sports have been down, he has been very active in the finance world, talking about investing. He claims it to be day trading, kind of more like swing/day trading, as well as a little bit of investing thrown in there. And then we're also going to be talking about Ford and some controversy that they recently came into with releasing the Bronco, the Ford Bronco that O.J. Simpson was famously chased down in on the day of his birthday. Originally, they did move it. And then also a letter that came out actually today as I'm filming this. You will probably be watching the next day, from the founders of Robinhood, discussing a really tragic incident that took place. Pretty crazy. I'm not going to provide much feedback on it, more just going to report it to you. Let's get started. If this is your first time here, really would love to have you come back and check out future videos. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video. Appreciate the support. So let's start with Dave Portnoy. If you don't know who he is, in my opinion, a very funny influencer online. Started companies, has amassed quite a following, 1.5 million on his personal Twitter, which is where he does most of his financial videos that he does. You can see right in his title, I own a ton of Penn stock. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't trust anything I say about stocks. Owner of DDTG Global, which is Davy Day Trade Global. He made a joke about that actually in a previous tweet. So recently, he's gotten a lot of heat, a ton of articles. If you haven't seen, I strongly recommend actually following him on Twitter. I think he's hilarious, even if you disagree or agree. Stool Presidente is his handle, coming out with hilarious videos all the time. And one of the things he's caught the most flack over are his comments on Warren Buffett, one of the all-time greats. Here's an article by Market Watch. Barstool Sports founder believes he's a better investor than Warren Buffett and has determined that day trading is the easiest game there is. So by the title and the thumbnail of this video, I say that it's the best thing that has happened to day trading. I don't necessarily mean that what his strategy or what he's actually doing in day trading is the best thing that's ever happened, but I do strongly believe that his personality being in this space draws a lot of attention to the market. And I do think that with all of his jokes and his antics, he has an overall actually decent message and is very, very funny. Provides a lot of entertainment in the space that I think more eyeballs on investing, the more people who pay attention to their finances and who get into investing and get kind of reclaim control of what they're doing. I think that's a good thing for Americans and for people across the world. Yeah, people may follow his advice and lose some money, but I think the more people that take time to learn and actually, if this is like their first experience seeing it, some normal guy making a lot of money doing this, and that causes them to look into it, I think that is very, very good for people overall. And that's kind of my stance on it. I did want to show a couple of clips of this video that he posted on Twitter a couple days ago. Got a lot of views, an interview on Fox Business. Check it out.
I learned what shorting the market was, so I bet against Boeing a little bit. I bet against Lululemon, and I got my butt kicked. And then I realized that the stock market has no effect on the real world and vice versa, that it's its own universe, that the wise guys on Wall Street, the pinstripe suits, has the thing all rigged for their benefit. And once my brain adapted and was able to figure it out, quickly I realized stocks only go up. So we just keep betting on stocks to go up, and they keep going up. So since then, it's been a pretty easy game.
I'm going to stop the video right there. That's obviously a pretty bold claim saying that stocks only go up. But if you do look at the history of the stock market in the United States, it has continuously gone up. So there is a little bit of truth to that. And I think furthermore, not only is he entertaining, again, if you check out his Twitter, some of his videos are absolutely hilarious in my opinion. It's right up my alley at least. Maybe you won't find them enjoyable. But for a long time, the stock market and people having access to it has been controlled by people that are kind of manipulating the way people view. Over the last 20, 30 years, if you would have just bought some of the best companies, which are not hard to buy, and held on to them, you would have made a ton of money on your original investments. At the end of the day, that's basically what he's saying. Buy the dips. This thing's going down. Market, if it does what it has always done, it will recover, and you're going to make a lot of money on your original investments. Now, if the market never recovers, if companies that you choose are not good companies and they end up going bankrupt and fail, which he does show a lot of companies that are at risk of doing that, so I'm not going to say everything he says is great, you could lose all of your money and have a really bad time. But overall, I do think he's hilarious, and it's kind of similar, honestly, to what Robinhood did to the market, which is it opened it up to everybody, made people feel like it's okay to invest, even if you have only a couple bucks or a few $100 or whatever, taking it out of the hands of the big suits, as Dave Portnoy likes to call them. Let's listen to his rules of DTG Global.
The Einstein-Pythagorean theorem model. What is it?
Yes. Well, that's really simple. That, again, I keep repeating myself, but we have a couple hard and fast rules here. Stocks only go up. That's rule 1. And rule 2, when in doubt, refer back to rule number 1. Listen, we're in a worldwide pandemic. We have protests. If the stock markets are still going up.
So is Dave Portnoy better than Warren Buffett? Obviously not, if you consider his track record, but he has been more effective over the last couple of months. Could that change very easily if the market absolutely tanks? Of course. Are you going to say, oh, yeah, well, he's made billions this year in dividends alone? Yes, he has, which makes him more effective overall. But if you just go on a percentage gain over the last couple of months, he's made more money. But that's not what Warren Buffett's game is. They're playing two different games. One person's trying to make a lot of money during this time. He's a little bit more risky. You got one guy who is Warren Buffett trying to make money over time consistently for the people who entrust him with those decisions. Let's move on to the next item. I'll do a quick little overview of my portfolio. Let me know if you guys like the black screen or the white screen. I personally like the black one. Portfolio overview, I did use the white screen, but over the last 3 months, I am up 26.92% according to this chart right now. Got some cryptocurrency, so it's changing even though it's after hours. $81,618.50 overall. I have bought and sold several calls and puts over the last week since I showed you. I don't do big money. I'm still learning calls and puts, but I've made, probably a couple $100 this week in buying puts on SPY just as the market, it's been stalled out for a little while. It feels like it's going to go back down. Reference this last week, but I made a whole video on how to kind of hedge your bets by buying puts on the market instead of selling off your shares, because a lot of people are like, hey, I don't want to sell my shares because I don't want to miss out on a huge recovery. And then there's a lot of people saying, but I also don't want to miss out if the market dips. Well, one way you can do that is by not selling your actual stock and by buying puts. A couple of other things I did this week. Finally purchased, I've been waiting to get this company until it dropped a lot. It didn't, and I got a little impatient. I did buy 7 shares of Realty Income. Awesome REIT, which the only thing that I'm not a huge fan of when it comes to REITs is that the dividends do get taxed at normal income tax, so you don't get that special treatment, but very nice, stable dividend. This says right here, 4.34. Definitely one of the most popular REITs. Probably is the most popular REIT. I've been looking for it. I feel like right now I'm a little hesitant to purchase mini stocks right now as the market is a little bit dicey. If we look at my biggest gainers today, which was not a great day, I did make $163 on Amazon according to it. This week it's up a decent amount. Mostly red today. DraftKings up a bunch. I got a decent amount of DraftKings, not a ton. Gamble up okay. Another thing I did add, I did buy some Smith & Wesson. I bought it at its peak. We'll see. I feel like it could go up with, again, not very little in terms of my overall portfolio, not even 0.25% currently. But I do feel like kind of with what's going on in the world today, it did have a pretty big run, but I thought maybe it might continue. We'll see. Might lose, but I'm willing to take a chance on that one. Other than that, maybe a couple other small moves, but my main activity this week was puts. I did buy a call because I anticipated a little bit of a run today back up. It actually did the opposite. Might have to take an L on that one, but I am still holding on to this long put. I don't plan on selling that probably up until quite a bit closer unless there is a massive downturn in the market. Hopefully offset some of my overall loss. So let's move on. Something I found pretty comical. Maybe you guys are a little less cynical than I am, but Ford originally was going to release their highly anticipated Bronco SUV on O.J. Simpson's birthday, which was coming up here on July 9th. They did move that to July 13th. They claim that there was purely coincidental. Pretty tough to imagine that they would have done that coincidentally. I don't really know how you could possibly accidentally do that. There had to be somebody inside of Ford that thought that maybe that would be some sort of a good idea, that maybe it would get some press, but apparently they got enough bad press and people complaining about this that they did move it. Kind of just a funny little tidbit that happened in the news this week, something that you may not have heard. And the last story I'm going to cover today, which is something that you probably didn't hear unless you are on Robinhood and follow them and saw this. I just happened to stumble upon this story. Very, very sad. On Alex Kearns, a Robinhood customer, died and left a note citing that there was confusion with the Robinhood product. I don't know if that was part of it or if that was the whole thing. I would imagine he must have lost a lot of money. Obviously, they don't go into great detail in this note that is from the founder who touches on this, but pretty crazy to have this happen. Prayers for the family. Man, as a company, this has got to be a tough thing to handle. I don't really know. Let me know what you guys think how you would have handled the situation. I can't even fathom having to react to this situation, but they do say that they are going to take some action, working on eligibility for some of their options levels and educational resources, as well as making some changes to the user interface to work on how some of the ways that buying power was displayed. You know, this is actually interesting. I know back, I'd say a couple of years ago, maybe last year, when I getting more familiar with the platform, I had margin turned on and I used margin without even knowing I was using margin. And I'm a fairly conscientious guy. They did make it so that you could now alter your accounts to not include margin, which I do not use. I do know that they could definitely do some work on some of that. They are quick to let you use margin without, which obviously if you don't know what margin is, it's just basically borrowing money from Robinhood. And if you borrow money from Robinhood, they charge you interest on it. And if you don't have it available in your account, then you got to put money in before you can make any moves. They are also going to do donation to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. They also just call out to say if you or anyone else who needs help or in a crisis, please reach out. So kind of a sad one to end on, everybody, but hopefully this gets cleared up. Robinhood can make some changes and this money will do some good in the future. Well, that wraps up this video. I hope you guys have a good week. I know that I plan on doing so. I am up green overall in my portfolio. I plan on kind of waiting and seeing next week. I'm not positive on what the market's going to bring. Let me know what your favorite move is this week. Strongly look forward to seeing what you guys comment. If I see something I like, I'll definitely look at doing it myself. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. Till next time. Peace.